What's up guys, it's Mike from the Scarif Surf Club, and today we're going to be building 2Bricks Phantom 2. We've already built the Phantom 1, which I'll link to below if you want to go check that out, but today we're going to be building its successor, the Phantom 2. What we've got is a rainbow of pieces here. There's a lot of white pieces, a lot more than in the Phantom 1. This is a much bulkier ship. Got quite a lot of light bluish grey and dark bluish grey pieces. A couple of blue shades, some transparent pieces, some yellows, some blacks. And over here we've got the crew. We've got our instructions, and we've got our cup of coffee. Okay, let's go build it. Alright, here we go. So pretty much everything is built, but just before I finally put everything together, I want to show you something which I found a little bit useful when I built this first time around. So disclaimer, this is the second time I built this. Building it again, there are some things that I would have done slightly differently. It's just the order of things, okay? Nothing that you need to change, but things that make it a little bit easier. So ordinarily I wouldn't show the build process for a premium mock. However, when you watch the designer video, this interior gets shown off anyway. So this setup here, where it uses the bars and the cones and stuff to fill in this gap really nicely, it's a really nice technique, that gets shown off in the video. So there's nothing here that's secretive. Something that I have added, which again was in the original designer video but it's not in the instructions, just these 1x1 cheese slopes here. Okay, as you can see, it fills in this gap quite nicely. When I first built it, I didn't put those in, and that kind of row of studs that you can see underneath, it looks it's a big gap. So having these to fill in does make a big difference. Now the other thing that I did differently when building it, two things I did differently from the instructions was, in the original instructions, these hinge base pieces, they go onto this, and then you got the plates on this bit, and it just clips in. Clipping these into this at an angle I found to be a little bit fiddly, plus this gets in the way a little bit. You'll also notice that I've left the ski off for now. I'll come back to that in a sec. So the second time I built it, what I do is I put the hinge bases onto this bit, and then I found it was much easier just to slot into place. You're not trying to clip it in or not trying to force it. Now the other thing that I've left off until last, the ski slope. When you put these pieces in, this little sub-assembly kind of gets in the way a little bit. So by leaving this off until the side bits are on, you pop that on. There you go, done. Slots in really nicely, fills in the gap. But it doesn't get in the way when you're assembling it. Now, let's have a look at the finished mock. The roof on like that. Okay. So here is 2Bricks finished mock. As you can see, it's not much bigger than the official Lego model. However, it's a lot more dense. There's definitely a lot more Lego in here. Despite being hollow all the way through, and we'll look at the interior in a minute, this is absolutely solid. It's heavy. Now, I didn't show you a studio model like I did with the last one to compare how many pieces you get from the original. But honestly, there aren't very many. The only pieces that really came from the original are these sticker pieces. I use the same canopy piece. You can order the printed one if you want. I use the original one, but that was pretty much it. There's very, very few pieces that transfer across. Okay. As I say, it's absolutely solid. Okay. There's so much space inside. The details are really good. The shaping's really good. Okay. Now shape like these panels down, or these corner wedge pieces down here. Don't know what they are. You can correct me in the comments. Okay, these pieces work really, really well, and it makes such a difference. How it's built is essentially you've got a box along here that's hollow, okay, and then everything else goes on top of it. But that really solid box with the studs along the side holding it, also the plates along the side holding everything together. Okay, again, absolutely solid. The only things you got to be a little bit wary of, these little bits on the side. Okay, they only stud in on one side, and they are quite easy to knock. The instructions are really clear. If you've built a 2Bricks model before, you'll know how good the instructions are, so no issues there. A slight frustration that I found with the instructions, potentially that might be me as a slightly more advanced mock builder, or someone who's used to building mocks, is the instructions. It felt like there were maybe too many steps. Okay, there were places where, especially with kind of some of the sub-assemblies, where it's like, well, I'm just going to skip a few pages ahead and then put everything together. Okay, it felt like there were steps that didn't necessarily need to be there. But this gives you a beautiful mock. So outside, you've got this canopy piece from the original, You can see this cockpit detail in there. You got this bit here, which this does come off. Okay, so it gives you access to Chopper's corpse. You've got space here for Chopper's head. We'll get that all fitted in a minute. You got some really nice sloping, especially as it comes down on this side. Okay, the way this fin is built, we've already had a look inside. Okay, it's built really, really well. Again, very, very solid. This whole top piece, there's only two studs that hold it in, but I can hold it, shake around a little bit. It's not falling off. On the back, we've got a little door that falls down. We've also got little guns on the side. I thought they came out from up here, but I'm probably wrong. Again, tell me in the comments. Okay, we've also got a little landing gear, which quite cleverly uses the, what is it, Star-Lord's gun from Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, you can fold that out. It does stand on them, but they tuck away quite nicely. Well, again, pretty solid. So let's have a look inside. So first thing we'll do, take this off, okay, just like so. Okay, you can see in here we've got the interior for the back. Let's open up a little bit lighter. Okay, we can also open up this bit, lifts off really easily. And then in the middle, you got this bit that comes off. Okay, now, that's an issue that I have with mine. Now I had it both times I built it. Okay, now I don't know whether it's, I might be using older parts that don't have as much kind of clutch power as potentially they should. Just find where that bar went. Okay. But when you lift this off, again, it has this tendency just to take this plate with it. Okay, just pop that back in there. All fits back together nice and easily. It's not a piece you need to take off all the time. It's just getting access to this bay to put Chopper in. But yeah, it is a thing that happens, so it might be something to be wary of. It might be, again, it might be the pieces that I'm using. If you build it and you don't have the issue, cool. You know, your mileage may vary. But yeah, it's a thing that happens on mine. So yeah, just kind of just press down on these bits just to stop it lifting up. It might also be because these grill tiles don't have much clutch power in them. Okay, again, it could be their age, just could be the nature of the piece. But that comes off. And what's really awesome, like this, is you can see all the way through, okay, which you could not do with the original set. Now, there's two changes that I've made on the inside. Let's see if we can get that light. Now, the first one is a practical piece. So we've got this piece here. This was a tile with bar. Okay, now, in the instructions, it fits in like this. However, I've just turned it around. Now, the reason I've turned it around is so that when you add Chopper, what I'll do is just pop his head off because he's going to sit outside. Sorry, mate. You can pop him in without having to take the seat out. Okay. With this turned round, you have to take the seat out, or at least move the seat to get him out. But with this way, it comes out nice and easily. Not a deal breaker, but something that you might want to do kind of early on in the build. The other thing I've changed was these panels here. In the instructions, it uses a 1x4 and a 1x2. However, I had quite a few of the 1x3s already, so I thought I'll use those up. Purely a practical decision, just to use pieces I already had. Now, what we can do, let's pop the crew in. Hera, unfortunately, does not fit in the pilot seat because of these bits here. They get in the way. However, we can absolutely pop her in here and she's got plenty of space. What we'll do is we'll also pop Sabine. You go here. Have her facing that way, have her facing the other way. Okay, you can see there's a lot of space in here. I reckon with the jumper plate, you can stick a little Jarek table in the middle to kill some time on some long space flights. What we can also do, we'll take Kanan. I can pop him in here. He's got his own proper seat. So there we go. We've got Kanan, we've got Chopper's body right behind him, Sabine and Hera in there. If you think about the original, you could get a pilot and in the back was room for a crate and nothing else. Okay, whereas now, you've got Chopper stored away, plus you've got 3 characters in there. Okay, close it up, put it back together. Trying to drop everything. Put that back on there. It goes on here. Oh, one last thing to show you, you've got clips in here for weapons, lightsabers, guns. It's a nice touch. Always handy to have space for accessories. Okay, there we go. Perfect. So now we've popped it on a stand, a little spin around. Final thoughts, this is awesome. Okay, it's really, really good and stable made to the other Phantom design. You can also see the size difference between the two. Both somehow managed to feel the same size as their official Lego counterparts, but are also much more dense and much more solid, and also much more playable. Off you go.
Looking at the three builds together, although they are quite close in size to each other, the 2Bricks model deck has a lot more heft to it. It's a little bit wider and a little bit shorter, but it's definitely a lot more playable. There's a lot more open space in the middle. Let's take a look at that compared to the other two. Here we can open up all the available space in the three builds. The Brickvault model has a roof that comes off as well as a cockpit. It also has the opening door at the back. The 2Bricks build, as we've seen, opens up all the way through. The official Lego set, it doesn't really. You can take the canopy off and there is an opening door at the back, which we can see here. However, there's not very much space in there. Only enough space for a crate. You can't really get a minifigure in there. And also the roof itself does not come off because there's a technical lift arm going all the way through.
But that is it for me. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to build this, and I definitely recommend you do, then I will link to the instructions below. I'll also link to the instructions for the first Phantom video if you want to check that out. They are available individually. They're both really, really good value, especially if you are a big fan of Rebels or the upcoming Ahsoka series. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, look after yourselves, and I'll be back next time.